What can be, unburdened by what has been.
What can be, unburdened by what has been.
What can be, unburdened by what has been.
So here are we today with Kirk as we look at who is Kamala Harris. So before you says that you are going to vote for her or you won't vote in a sense for the Democrat, first of all you need to know who is Kamala Harris and what does she stand for. So without any further ado, let's get on to the video and check out who she is.
The reason why I think that there's something to this Vegas story, by the way, more and more regime reporters are emailing and texting us saying, you're onto something with this Vegas thing. They're all afraid to touch it. We are not afraid here on the Charlie Kirk Show. We leaned right into the story.
Definitely.
All of these reporters are afraid, and they should be afraid, because you're going up against a empire that is willing to do very nasty and very sinister things. Joe Biden's brother says Biden's declining health was a key factor for why he is stepping down. Play cut 32.
Had a brief conversation with Frank Biden, one of President Biden's two younger brothers, and here's what he told us. He said, I'm incredibly proud of my brother. Selfishly, I will have him back to enjoy whatever time we have left. He is a genuine hero. Country over self. It sounds corny in our cynical political environment, but he nor I are cynical. The goal remains the same: defeat Trump and continue the work that Joe has done. My hope is that our party rallies around this heroic act. We asked him whether he feels that his brother's overall health and vitality played a major role in this decision, and he says, in my humble opinion, absolutely.
Whatever time we have left, that's how you talk about when somebody has a stroke and they're not looking too good.
Charlie, that's too hot.
Everybody in this audience knows this. You know this after COVID. You know this after Fauci, after Birx. You know this after the Ukraine war, after the open border. You know this after the 51 officials that signed the Hunter Biden laptop. You know that the president does not actually run the country under its current form. And that is why they're terrified of Donald Trump, is that he'll restore the constitutional order. They're terrified of Donald Trump and J.D. Vance because the form of the Constitution, the structure that has been handed down from Madison, Hamilton, and Jay will then be put back into alignment. Instead, we're living under this historicist, progressive, Hegelian dynamic that has been around for 100 years, where the fourth branch of government, the administration of experts, call the shots. So Kamala Harris has a phrase that she repeats over and over again. And it doesn't really make a lot of sense on the surface. So I'm going to explain it to you. She has a thing that she'll say over and over again, which is, we are unburdened by what has been. And then she has this other thing, like, what, did you just fall out of a coconut tree? Kamala Harris is not bright, but she is a trained revolutionary Marxist. If Kamala Harris were to become president, whether by Joe Biden giving her the presidency or Joe Biden dying, or Kamala Harris winning in November, which is totally possible, by the way, she's going to be a very difficult opposition for us. They're going to spend $3 billion. You do not be the opposite of cocky. You should be paranoid and humble and finding new voters. She would be the most radical president in American history, far more so than Barack Hussein Obama. She's a believer in the core ideology of Marxist framework, and I'll prove it to you. Here's a montage of Kamala Harris saying, what can be unburdened by what has been. Play cut 80.
I can imagine what can be and be unburdened by what has been. You know? What can be, unburdened by what has been. What can be, unburdened by what has been.
What can be, unburdened by what has been.
What can be, unburdened by what has been.
It's easy to make fun of that, and you should, because 99% of the country is, what on earth are you talking about? It's a framework that, if you are able to seize the means of production, if you are able to understand the context of what everyone lives in, then you are able to be unburdened by systemic racism, unburdened by homophobia, unburdened by anti-immigrant fervor. Marxists view every person as part of their identity politic group. Said differently, what do you think? You just fell out of a coconut tree? You're not a sovereign individual. You don't have your own actions, your own ability to improve your life. No. You are part of a tribe. You are part of a group. You are part of a sect. Kamala Harris seeks to put America away from the sovereignty of the individual and instead the power and the strength of the tribe. Do you think you just fell out of a coconut tree? Play cut 81.
You think you just fell out of a coconut tree? You exist in the context of all in which you live and what came before you.
This is what's called historical conditions. It's a Marxist phrase. It's a direct importation of Marx's invocation of one's historical conditions rendering you who you are. It says here in one of Marx's writings, the social revolution cannot take its poetry from the past, but only from the future. It cannot begin with itself before it has stripped away all the superstition about the past. James Lindsay sent this to me. The former revolutions require recollections of the past world history in order to smother their own content. This is the core of communist and Marxist theology. This is a religious statement that Kamala Harris has been making. Conditions make the man. Therefore, seize the means of production of his conditions, because then you have the means of production of him. This particular excerpt from Marx's landmark social history indicates that for Marxists, they must imagine the ideal future and make those the conditions of man. Therefore, be unburdened by what has been. The idea of history is a major component of revolutionary thought. Here's Kamala Harris all about the passage of time. Play cut 4.
Talking about the significance of the passage of time, right? The significance of the passage of time. So when you think about it, there is great significance to the passage of time in terms of what we need to do to lay these wires, what we need to do to create these jobs. And there is such great significance to the passage of time when we think about a day in the life of our children.
That's not an edited clip, by the way. She said passage of time 3 or 4 times. The importance, though, as we come to a close here of this hour, is that Marxists view the passage of time, the arc of history, bending towards justice. We're just beginning exposing her as a cackling California communist who will destroy America.
Well, it's a very interesting one, listening to Charlie Kirk analyzing Kamala Harris, right, telling us, about what he thinks she is. But then when you look at Kamala Harris' famous, quote, what can be unburdened by what has been. Kamala Harris is trying to let us, to understand that whatever must have happened in the past, right, should not affect, what you can do in the future. So it's about, what can you do? So she is trying to tell you that, or she is trying to tell us that she is not unbothered by what that has happened in the past or what she has done in the past. All she is trying to say is about what she can do, and all she is saying is that about herself, because people, could say about the people she prosecuted, the 14,000 people that they says that they took marijuana and all those things. But then we are not also saying that taking marijuana is good, but then people are saying that there are evidences that what some information were hidden, and that is why those people were prosecuted. But then the question is to whether does the law allow them to be prosecuted? or for them to be detained, or for them to remain, you understand, in the prison? Does the law allow such things? Did she violate the laws? We do not know. So I can't tell you, understand, to whether to do it, you understand, is right or wrong. But then if we are to look at it based on, you understand, religious ground, I could say that, you understand, it is wrong. So right now Kamala is saying that it's not about, you understand, what has happened. She is just projecting herself, you understand, to the future. She is talking about what she can do, and not about, you understand, what that she did not do right. It means that she is not unbothered by some of the things that she must have do, to whether they are right or they are wrong. Even though we all know that whatever decisions, you understand, we make is always based on history, right? But then that kind of make me to start thinking about this, that why is it that Republicans don't really like CRT? Why is it that they want CRT to be abolished, understand, in schools? Why? Because they don't want people to know, or they just want those history, understand, to be gone. They don't want people to kind of know the historical factor of maybe probably where they come from, right? They do not want CRT, right? So you see, if you look at it in that very angle, then you tend to see reasons with Kamala Harris, you understand, famous, you understand, code. And then one thing that I think that Republicans should not do is to make a mistake by thinking that Kamala Harris is an easy win. Kamala Harris is never an easy win. I think that the Republicans need to do a lot of their homework. They have to do their homework very well. Else, otherwise, Kamala Harris is going to surprise everyone. Because when I sit down and I tend to think about this famous code, what can be unburdened by what has been, it means that she don't really care about whatever she must have done in the past. She is just focused on the future. And then the worst part of it is, if you do not know, you understand, her strength, how can you be able to tell that this is what she's going to do? Because as we are saying, Charlie Kirk is saying that these people are willing to spend over $3 billion in this election. It means that these people are not coming to play. They are not coming to play. It means that she's not going to be as easy win as the way some people are thinking. It could have been much more easier, you understand, for Donald Trump to beat Joe Biden. Everybody knows about that. And it was actually the debate that exposed Joe Biden. But when you look at Kamala Harris, for instance, what can we really use against her? That is the problem. So that's why I am saying that one thing is you have to understand the person's weakness. So what's the Kamala Harris, in a sense, weakness? People can only talk about her strictness, how she do things and all those things, but nobody is really giving us, in a sense, a negative reasons to why she should not win. Even when you look at, in a sense, Charlie Kirk, in a sense, analysis does not really say anything bad about her, right? We can only just talk about, in a sense, okay, some of the things, in a sense, she's saying, even though Charlie Kirk says that she's not smart, but I don't really see it that way, because I see that woman that she's very, very smart, because for Joe Biden to be able to endorse her, and from the look of things, it seems like all the Democrats are going to endorse her in the primary election. So do you think that she's going to be an easy win? I don't think so. But nevertheless, as time progresses, we are still going to know. But then I would like to also hear your thought and opinion concerning the candidacy of Kamala Harris. I want to see that at the comment section, and may God bless you as you do so. So this is the end of my video. If you like my reaction, you should like, share, and subscribe. If you have any video you want me to react to, don't forget to drop it at the comment section, and I'm going to check it out. So guys, you remain blessed, and I see you in my next video.